Hey friends, I'm out here in the garden trimming a few of our zinnias to put in a mason jar, and it's got me thinking about our scripture for this Sunday. As we continue working our way through Paul's letter to the Colossians, we enter into this part of the letter where he is confronting some of these different spiritual practices and disciplines that seem to be pervasive in the community in Colossae, but have lost their connection with the heart and the truth of the gospel. And it seems to have resulted in a culture in Colossae and in that region that you could advance, you could grow in your faith by doing these different disciplines, by fasting or abstaining from things, or adhering to a particular calendar, or celebrating these particular kinds of festivals. That was the way of growth. That was the way of spiritual maturity. And Paul, the way he describes that, what's got me thinking about these flowers is he says that those rituals, they have lost connection with the head. And he goes on to describe this body complete with all the ligaments growing. He says it's lost connection with the head, with all these ligaments, and in a body that grows as God causes it to grow, not as spiritual disciplines or practices or festivals or calendars cause it to grow. And in there is this fresh challenge, it's to stay rooted, sort of like we did, like we talked about last week. That spiritual growth, real spiritual growth, comes when you're rooted in the truth and fullness of the gospel, and that spiritual disciplines are part of the Christian life. They are fasting, and we have a church calendar to celebrate things like Christmas and Easter and Pentecost. But those are not the things that cause us to grow. It's God who causes us to grow. And when we deceive ourselves, or we believe this lie that if we just participate in these particular kinds of rituals or these particular kinds of disciplines, and we lose sight of the emphasis on the gospel, we're kind of like these flowers, right? Like we can clip some of these zinnias, and they're beautiful, right? It's beautiful. And I can put it in a jar, and it's going to live for a few days, and it's going to be beautiful on our dining room table, but then it's going to die because it's lost connection with the source of life. And that's this sort of challenge that Paul is saying here, that the Christian life, with all of its disciplines and its rhythms and rituals, which are part of it, they mean nothing unless they are rooted and connected with the source of life, unless they are connected with God, unless they are connected with the truth and the wholeness of the gospel. And so that's our challenge this week. And I look forward to unpacking that more with you this Sunday. It's Friday morning, and we're coming off of a busy week of Vacation Bible School, which feels a little bit like this flower garden. There's just life popping up all over the place. And it's been a joy to be a part of what God is doing here in Fillmore, what God is growing here in Fillmore. And our challenge is to stay connected to the gospel, to stay connected to that source of life, and to continue to grow as God causes us to grow. So I look forward to seeing many of your faces this Sunday as we celebrate we're going to celebrate Vacation Bible School, and we're going to look at this passage in Paul's letter to the Colossians with a fresh challenge to make sure that we too are staying connected with the source of life. So I love you. I'm praying for you, and I look forward to seeing your faces this Sunday. Take care, friends.